Hey Remarkable Lifers, this is Craig. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the things that surprised us when we come back to the United States. Now,
every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you.
Now, we've been living in Mexico for about 2 years, and almost 2 years, and you don't think that you've acclimated quite as much as you do, but there's some things that when you come back are glaring and you can't really miss them. And so we're going to show you a little bit, and we're going to start today with this. It is green. There is just so much grass. People take very good care of their grass in their yards. This is my brother's house in an undisclosed location outside of St. Louis, and you can see there are mow lines and there is just lush sod. Not something that you're going to see in our area of Mexico. So that was a nice surprise. It feels very good. The other thing you do see a lot, this is an empty lot. It's 3 empty lots. My brother lives in an area where they're building houses, and there's a lot of construction in the United States, and there's a lot of new developments going in. Now that happens everywhere. We see that down in our area too, but it's very different. They come in and dig basements. Basements? What? You forget about basements. There's a lot of things you forget about, and they hit you. So right now, I am out just enjoying the day. It's a beautiful day. Look, crazy beautiful. It's about 80 degrees, 75 degrees, 80 degrees. And back home in Mexico, in Ajijic, right now it is in the 90s. It is a heat wave. We are in the hot month. The temperature is pretty good most of the year. But this month we decided to schedule our travel to come back up to the United States to see friends and family, to get our things in order that we need to get in order. And there's a big difference in weather. In fact, at night, we're cold. So that's a big one. Oh, and air conditioning. Whew, I'm not used to air conditioning. So the first week I was here, every time I would go in and out of a house with air conditioning, I would get chest congestion. It's gotten a lot better right now. But that's a big one because we just don't have it. And when you do have it, you don't need to run it all the time. And so it's noticeable. And here's another thing you don't see very often. Hi. He's a tortuga. We saw a fox last night too, running through the yard. So you just don't see the same wildlife. You'll see different wildlife, but very different. We live in a little village, and you just don't see a lot of that. We don't have lots of lizards or lots of wild animals. You'll see squirrels once in a while. Cows and horses, a lot of cows and horses, but those are domestic. Birds, lots of birds, but in Ajijic you just don't see a lot of animals running around other than domestic animals. Lots of dogs, cats, and those types of things. Horses and cows, but you just don't see those wild animals running around there. All on the outskirts, and it's a dry climate most of the year, so you just see dry animals. That's kind of the thing. So you do see lots of flowers and things like that where you don't see here, but yeah, you miss those little things. But we used to live in a neighborhood where I had a creek that went through my backyard, and we would see herds of deer and foxes and coyotes and raccoons and all kinds of different things, and we just don't see those back up there. So you don't even pay attention to it until you see them, and then you're like, wow, okay, yeah, we don't see those.
So something that kind of shocks me, or not really shocks, but something I didn't realize I'd gotten used to is here, we go out to a restaurant or we go to a store or something like that, and I'm not running into people that I know. It's almost like you're around a lot more people, but it's also kind of isolated, because in the little village of Ajijic, you're always running into people you know.
Something else that's kind of funny is I didn't realize how much Craig and I actually speak Spanish in our daily lives. I mean, we kind of Spanglish it,
You know, we kind of speak a mixture of English and Spanish, even around the house. And I hadn't really noticed it until we get here, and like we're running through the store or something, and I'm like yelling at him, asking him something in Spanish, and people are looking at us weird. I'm not even thinking about it. That's interesting.
It's a real thing. Like the first time a person walked by me, I'm like, oh, con permiso, you know, excuse me. Or the first time I walked up and, you know, to a cashier, I'm like, oh, buenos dias. And, you know, because in Mexico, you actually need to greet a person before you, it's really rude if you don't just greet a person before you start dealing with them.
Business,
yeah. And so here, no, that's not a thing. They don't even look at you. First time I went to a gas station, I'm like, she didn't even make eye contact. She didn't even look at me. Didn't even look at me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of normal here, you know? So, but it's definitely like we have lapsed into Spanish in the middle of something when it's a situation that we would have used Spanish for back in Mexico, because, you know, it is mixed. So you've got people from all over the place. So you kind of go back and forth between. But yeah, you know, if it's a situation like we were at,
this was funny.
I'm looking at KJ off camera, by the way.
This. We went to our brother and sister-in-law's favorite Mexican restaurant. You know, in the menu, the items are in Spanish, and I found myself looking at the waiter, and I was literally having to translate into English in my head before I spoke. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I did the same. My first restaurant experience, I started speaking to the waiter in Spanish. Fortunately, it was a Mexican restaurant, and he did speak Spanish. Maybe that was it. But yeah, and then I've noticed myself using exclamations like "I," you know, versus "Oh no," you know. It's funny, and you don't notice it until you're out of that environment because it's completely normal down there. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's kind of fun.
So something that's very different here. Allergies. I literally was sitting outside and just had this massive allergy attack. So I had to run in and get me some allergy medicine.
Yeah, it's different whether you're here or in Mexico. You're going to have new allergies when you get there, and then you're going to come back here and go, oh man, now I'm no longer immune. It usually subsides within a day or two, but if you've got allergy issues, pack your pills. Right?
Right.
Another thing that just gets me is the availability of convenience is absolutely everywhere. There's not just the availability in your neighborhood, but there's sub-pockets within your neighborhood. So you can have just about everything you need. And we're back. Okay, so it's been interesting because we're kind of gathering these thoughts and these surprises as we go. And you're about to see one. The roads. And the weather. The struggle is real. So, KJ, what do you notice about roads and weather here?
Well, the roads are just easy. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons for that. One, I grew up my entire life driving on the interstate system in the U.S., and, you know, it's easy to kind of go on autopilot. You know, I know what all the signs are and what they mean and all of that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that's just easier. I'm not going to say it's better, but, you know, it's just easier because it's what I know. The weather, it's rained. Oh my gosh. I'm something we haven't seen in a while. I actually got out and danced it the other day.
Yeah, it's actually, we forgot about weather. Like, we forgot about weather because it's pretty stable where we're at. And it's, you know, a normal day is going to be sunny and warm and nice and everything's good. But here, it changes on a dime.
Yeah, I woke up the other morning and got my phone and looked at my phone, and it said, tornado warning, take immediate shelter in a basement or some other enclosed surface. This weather alert expires at 5 a.m. And I was like, well, it's 6:30, I guess I'm okay.
Fortunately, we're in a basement. Yeah, you can see it's beautiful. The sky's beautiful with all the clouds and everything. I used to think it was ugly. Now I like it. And we'll show you the river.
There's the river.
But right now we are headed over. This is kind of another thing. we are headed over to go visit with friends that we haven't seen in a year or two, about a year, and we're going to go have dinner. Now, they live on one side of town and we live on the other, so it's an hour drive to get to them, and that is not something that we're used to. It's great. We don't mind it because we get to see our friends, but
It's just not something that we do in Mexico. Yeah, where we
everything
live.
is spread out. Everything is spread out. You have to have a car to get around here.
Yeah.
Or you're just not going to be able to have a very wide circle, or you're going to need to live in a very small place. So it's just a fact of life here. And you spend a lot of time in a car. We've realized that we spend a lot of time in the car here.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so you guys have seen some of the differences that we've noticed since we've been back here in the States. And I'm not saying one's better than the other or anything like that. It's just sometimes these differences are a little bit shocking. You know, you kind of forget or had no basis of comparison until you travel outside of your home country. So I'm actually kind of curious. What differences whenever, you know, you live one place and you travel back to your country of origin, what differences do you notice? Comment down below. Let's see. I'm really curious to see what you've noticed. And we still keep running across these things. So maybe there'll be another video about this stuff. So like, subscribe, and follow us along.
follow us along.
Yeah, follow us along. Follow along with us. Follow along with us on the channel. And if you haven't already, go find your truly remarkable life.